If you're a small YouTuber trying to get sponsorships, you may think that the hardest part is getting enough subscribers or views so that a company pays attention to you. It's not. A lot of channels with modest subscriber numbers get sponsorships, and other channels that have pretty decent numbers don't even get approached. Why is that? Today we're going to talk about the biggest mistakes that make sponsors avoid small creators. Some of these mistakes are technical, some of them are legal, and some of them are branding problems. If you want sponsorships, affiliate deals, or even the possibility of building a serious business with your YouTube channel, take a couple of minutes and watch this video. It might save you a whole lot of frustration. First of all, you have to think like a company. You have to understand how sponsors think. Most creators think that sponsorship decisions are emotional. They think companies ask things like, do we like this channel? That's not really the question. The real question is, could this creator become a problem for us down the road? I would appreciate you hitting like, commenting, sharing, especially if you find this to be useful to you, because I'm a brand new channel. I just started it in April 2026. I think I have a whopping 9 subscribers, so I could really use some support. I'd appreciate it. On to the video to see if you're even interested in what I have to say. Look, a sponsorship manager is not trying to find the next best thing that's coming out on YouTube, your hidden artistic ability. They're trying to avoid a disaster. They're very risk averse. This is what they're actually thinking when they're looking at your channel. This creator damage my reputation? Could they create legal problems down the road? Is it possible that they would violate FTC rules? Could they disappear tomorrow? They might be great today, but 3 months from now, they're not posting anymore. Could they embarrass us publicly? Think Will Smith. He lost a whole bunch of sponsors, didn't he? Just saying. Could they embarrass us publicly? Could they even just become controversial? Are they reliable? Are they stable? Do they act professionally? Once you understand this, a lot of the sponsor's behavior will begin to make more sense. Okay, let's start with the biggest one first. I hate it when they work backwards. Here's the smallest one, but stay till the end for the biggest one. No, I'm going to give you the biggest one right up front. The biggest mistake you can make is to look unstable. What does that mean? They're not talking about looking financially unstable. They're talking about being behaviorally unstable. Here's what scares sponsors: constant drama on your channel. Now, look, that might be great for subscribers. Your subscribers might love it that you're always fighting with other viewers, fighting with other channels, fighting with some of your own subscribers, causing drama. Maybe that's something that your channel actually does. You go out to make drama happen, to piss off the cops. You purposely do things to piss off the cops. Well, does a sponsor want that? I mean, think about a channel like that, where somebody goes out and his whole purpose is to agitate the police so that this next YouTube video will go viral. You might get a lot of subscribers like that, but you're probably not going to get a lot of sponsors, because that's dangerous. It's risky for the company. Remember, a company doesn't care if you're entertaining. They care about whether or not you're going to become a PR nightmare. And usually they're looking at a couple of different channels. It's not just your channel. They're looking at multiple different channels. The thing to keep in mind is they're looking at more than just your YouTube channel. They're looking at your tweets. They're looking at your Instagram. They're looking at your comments and your replies to people's comments on YouTube. They're looking about Reddit discussions, particularly those about you personally or your channel. They're looking at old live stream clips. They're looking at community posts. They're looking at your political views. Maybe you feel very strongly about something in your community and you went and videotaped yourself and put it all over your YouTube channel about how you made such a fuss at the town hall meeting last week or last month or last year. They're looking at all that stuff. That's probably, if I had to guess, I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, they hire somebody to do that. Their sponsorship manager is going to send out the names of 4 or 5 different channels, and they want this particular company or this particular person, just has to be an individual, and they pay that person or that company to investigate you. They want to see who you are before they're going to invest money in you. Another mistake is looking desperate. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to have sponsorships. But there is a problem if you're looking absolutely desperate for a sponsorship. How do you do that? You're begging companies publicly. Maybe you have a cooking show and you use Hexclad and you want Hexclad pots and pans. You want that company to sponsor you. And every time you do a video, you're talking about Hexclad, and boy, I really wish that they would sponsor me. I wrote to them last week, well, maybe you guys can write to Hexclad and give a little nudge. Let them know that you bought Hexclad because of me. Another thing, are you always complaining about money? Are you always asking people to buy you a coffee? I am. I have never had anybody buy me a coffee. It's kind of a joke. I don't do it on this channel. I do it on my Immigration and You channel. But it's become a joke with my subscribers because nobody ever buys me a coffee. But are you always complaining about money? And that doesn't have to be about AdSense. That can be about how much money you made on Amazon affiliates. You're complaining about money, complaining about money. Another thing you could be doing is promoting anything. I'm going to go back to the cooking channel. Maybe you're promoting a blender that by now everybody knows this blender is not so hot. You'll promote anything as long as you get some money out of it. Other sponsors don't want somebody like that. Hand in glove with that, advertising products that you clearly don't use. That's sort of self-explanatory, isn't it? Once viewers think that you'll promote just about anything, your credibility goes down. And sponsors care a lot about your credibility because it's going to be attached to their product. A creator with 20,000 loyal subscribers can do a whole heck of a lot better than a creator with 500,000 subscribers that are disengaged. There's no comments, there's no likes. I knew this one guy, he had 54,000 subscribers. I could never understand this. He had 54,000 subscribers, and he would post every week, not every week, every day he posted a video. And at the end of a month, those videos would have 8 views, 12 views. I mean, he's got 54,000 subscribers. What happened? He had a video that went viral, and then he decided to pivot. He was doing finance videos, and then he decided that he was going to change and become one of those gurus that talks about, you could do it, you could do it. It's not too late. If you're in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, and beyond. His subscribers were not interested in starting a new YouTube channel. They were interested in finance, and he had basically lost his credibility with his own subscribers, and the companies know that. So, careful. Another big mistake that people make. They don't really understand the advertising disclosure rules that are necessary. You know, in the United States, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, requires creators to disclose sponsored relationships clearly. That means that viewers should understand when the content is actually an ad. It's not hidden, it's not vague, it's clear, crystal clear that this is an ad. A lot of times I think creators are afraid to do that because they think that the viewer is going to click away. But brands usually want a creator who's going to follow the rules. Why? Because if not, this could become a legal liability for them. They don't want somebody who's not following the rules, or worse, doesn't even know what the rules are. You can't bury the fact that this is an ad in the description. You have to say it in the video. So if a sponsor sees that you're hiding your affiliate links, you're not mentioning the fact that this is actually an affiliate link, and if they click on that, you're going to get a commission. If you're making misleading claims, if you're exaggerating how great the product is, you just fail to mention that this is a sponsored video. You may instantly look too risky for a new brand to offer you a sponsorship. This is especially true in finance, health, supplements, legal services, investing, insurance, things like that. High-risk industries care a lot about compliance with the FTC rules. So, pay attention to those things. Another problem that creators can have sometimes is that they write really bad emails. And I'll tell you what, I am a stickler for spelling and grammar. I mean, Jesus, if you don't know how to... First of all, how the heck do you spell things wrong in an email? It tells you that you're spelling it wrong. The fact that you're not paying attention to it is a big problem. And if it's a big problem for me, you know it's going to be a big problem for somebody who is thinking about maybe giving you some money to sponsor your channel. You should sound professional. I say this all the time in these videos. You have to think of yourself as a business, and you have to think of yourself as a professional. So here's some examples of problems people have with emails. First of all, they might write an emotional email, right? Well, it's been 3 weeks and I haven't heard from you and I was getting a little bit concerned. Is there some kind of a problem? Using aggressive language, kind of like that. Being hard to reach. You know, if they send you an email and it takes you 2.5 weeks to get back to them, they might not want to deal with you. If they ask for specific information from you, contact information, whatever it is, they ask for specific information, maybe information about your analytics, and you give an incomplete answer, you just kind of throw something together and send it off to them because it's getting late, they're going to think about that. Can they trust you with the information that you're giving them? So keep it in the back of your mind that professionalism really matters. It matters a lot more than you might think. Because the person on the other end of that email is a professional. They're getting paid to do what they're doing. So they want to be treated as if they were a professional. You know, they don't want some big, long, rambling email from you. They don't want some emotional email that you sent at 2 a.m. in the morning. So before you hit send, review that email. Look at it. I know you're not going to print it out. I would print it out and read it because I always find more mistakes. I used to write fiction, for instance, and you know, I could go through a short story and think that it was perfect. I'd print it out. Oh my God, I'd find so many mistakes in it. So you might not want to print it out because I know young people don't print things out, but check it and double check it to make sure that this email says exactly what you want it to say in the way you want to say it. Another problem is that you don't have a business foundation. This is another thing I repeat in a lot of the videos that I do, you treat this channel like it's a hobby, not like it's a business. Let me give you an example. You don't have a business email. You don't have your own website. You don't have a media kit. You don't have a rate sheet listing what your rates are. You don't understand contracts. I just did a video about all these clauses in the sponsorship contract that you should be familiar with. Take a look at that. I know it's boring, but take a look at it. For instance, if they send you a contract and you call up whoever this managing sponsorship guy is, and you say, well, what does this mean? What's this indemnity clause mean? Or what's clause number 6 mean? You know, hey, it's not their job to explain it to you. Businesses think that when they deal with another business, that they're both on equal footing. If you don't understand what something means, don't ask them. Do your research. Find out what these things mean in this contract before you sign it, by the way. Listen, you don't need to be some great big organization. I mean, it might just be you. But they want to know that you're at least someone who is organized, professional and organized. Because that's going to make their job a whole lot easier if they can trust that they're dealing with a professional. Another problem is that you don't want to screw up your brand, okay? Don't have videos that are all about trout fishing, and then 3 weeks later you're doing a video about your kid just graduated from college and you bought him a car and you went to buy this car and this is all about how you decided what car to buy, blah, blah, blah. Don't screw it up. You know, whatever it is that you're doing, stick with that. They especially don't like profanity, which is something I have to deal with because a lot of times not so much on this channel. I don't think I've done it very much on this channel. But my Immigration and You channel, I do a lot of cursing on that. I have to walk that back. Yeah. But it's very hard. Being an immigration attorney for so many years, it's very, very hard to keep my mouth zipped when I see the disaster that is happening with the immigration laws in this country. Anyway, anywho, sponsors like clarity. They want to know, what is this channel about? And if that should be clear from the first time they look at your various videos. Don't have a bunch of different things. If they can't figure out what your channel is about, they could just walk away from it. It's too confusing. Keep in mind that your brand identity matters. Copyright problems scare sponsors. It's understandable, right? If your channel is getting copyright strikes, takedown notices, reused content claims, stolen footage accusations, music violations, companies are going to steer away from you because they want predictability, safety, security. They don't want somebody who's breaking the rules. So be careful about how you do that if you expect to get sponsorships. Imagine you're a company and you've hired a channel to do a video for you, and it gets taken down 2 days after it comes up. That's money wasted. And it's possible that this particular company has had this problem before, so they're on the lookout for it. This is especially true for reaction channels, commentary channels, AI-generated channels. We're about to talk about AI in about 2 seconds. Clip channels, and compilation channels. Fair use is complicated. Pay attention to the rules, please, please. You'll only help yourself. Another problem is what people call the fake influencer problem. That's when a channel tries to act like it's bigger than it really is. They buy subscribers, which we all know is a mistake. They also buy comments. They buy fake views. They buy fake engagement. This is incredibly dangerous. You know, brands are increasingly using analytics tools to detect suspicious engagement. And once a creator looks dishonest, the trust just collapses. They might even hold you in breach of contract. And even if you got a sponsorship, they could yank it away from you. A lot of sponsors prefer authentic, smaller creators over inflated fake channels. Of course. Wouldn't you? The internet is becoming flooded with fake engagement. So that means that real loyalty from your subscribers is becoming more valuable, not less. And now we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, AI, right? Of course, it's becoming huge. Every day, it's worse and worse, or better and better, depending on how you look at it. But companies are becoming increasingly concerned about fake creators, AI voice cloning, deep fakes, fake testimonials, and AI generated scams. Sponsors may very soon, if they haven't already, they may very soon begin to demand proof that creators are actually human people with real audiences. Creators who overuse AI without disclosing that face trust issues down the road. A contract for a sponsorship that's good for a year, and they decide 6 months in that you've breached your contract because you haven't disclosed all your AI scripts that you've been using, that you don't change. You know, you want to start with an AI script, that's fine, and then make it your own. Don't just repeat. I mean, I heard Nick Nimmin and his brother D, talking just a few weeks ago. They were talking about, but maybe they had the script. Maybe they could actually see the script, because that's what they said, both of them at the same time. That's AI generated. That's an AI generated script. That sounds like AI. That sounds like AI. You know, if two guys living in Thailand can figure it out, believe me, the sponsorship manager person can figure it out. You have to, if you're going to do a script, no problem, but make it your own. And one of the worst mistakes you can make is burning your bridges with other sponsors that you had and doing it publicly. Because if you're bad-mouthing another sponsor that you had, what's to keep you from bad-mouthing this sponsor who's considering you? Look, it's okay if you have a dispute with a sponsor, right? But don't talk shit about them. Okay, be professional about this. You can professionally disagree about things, but don't be yelling at them. Don't be saying what terrible products they have. Don't be saying they're not trustworthy. You could get slapped with a defamation suit, you know. So, and another thing to think about is that some of these companies talk to each other. Just like you might talk to other creators, and you know which companies have good sponsorships and which ones don't, the companies also talk amongst themselves. So if a creator becomes known for leaking negotiations, meaning telling other people, well, this is the deal I got, exposing private emails, well, this is the deal I got from company X, you don't want to do that. It's just like, remember when we used to all work in offices together and you saw people all the time? You weren't supposed to tell other people how much money you were making. It was really frowned upon. Same thing here. Don't go telling people how much money these different companies are giving you, and try to compare notes. Be careful with that. I mean, you could very quietly get blacklisted. I'm not saying you will, but you could. I guess the thing I'm trying to say over and over is be professional. You know that golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You don't want the company talking about what a horrible person you are. They don't want you talking about what a horrible company they are. Be professional. Write good emails. Double check your emails. I am, I am part of the grammar police. But it tells me a lot about a person. I'm sorry. But it tells me a lot about a person if he doesn't know how to frickin' spell, even though there's spell check on your email. They don't know how to spell the word there. Is it T-H-E-I-R? T-H-E... You know, come on, people. Look it up. You've got dictionary.com. Anyway, I digress again. Shut up, Beverly. Oh, one last thing I want to talk about. And this kind of concerned me because I'm just on YouTube. I'm on Facebook too, but that's just my personal page. I put some stuff, and that's all for immigration stuff anyway. I haven't done any of this. I don't think I've done any of this. I don't think I've done anything for CAP. Although I am in some Facebook pages, you know, like for small YouTubers. But I don't have, well, I do have an Instagram account, but I am literally never on it. I don't have a Reddit. I'm not even sure what Reddit is. But I'm a boomer. Please excuse me. I do have X. Haven't been on it for ages. And you could probably name a whole bunch of other places that I've never heard of. But apparently, sponsors don't want you to just be on one platform. And that's because they know, something that I try to stress in these videos, that platforms are iffy. They can demonetize you. They can take you down at any time. You could get hacked on YouTube. Your YouTube channel can get stolen away from you and people start imitating you. I think Kevin Colby was talking about that? That somebody had hacked him and used his, was sending emails to people saying that they were him. You know, if it can happen to him, it can happen to you. So companies want creators that are on multiple platforms. They have email lists. They have a website. So keep in mind that your audience relationship that you have is more important than just one platform. Actually, speaking of Nick Nimmin, way back, I'm going to say like 6-7 months ago, that was the advice they told me that I should, and this is for my Immigration and You channel, and they told me you should be on more channels than just YouTube. You should get up on Instagram. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That's just more of the same. I don't want to do that. But that was their advice to me, going back. I mean, maybe that channel was a year old, and they said you should be on more than one platform. So, I have a lot of respect for those guys. They might be kind of dorky, but you know what? Every Saturday they're up 3 hours a day. 3 hours every Saturday morning giving free advice. And it's very good advice too, in my ever so humble opinion. But come on, we're getting near the end. This always happens to me. I get near the end and then I won't shut up. Oh, the one last thing I'm supposed to talk about is how small creators actually have a little bit of an advantage over the big guys. And I'll tell you why. Some brands are actually moving towards micro creators. That's a nice way of putting it. I am a micro creator. I only have 9 subscribers, by the way. If you're getting any kind of value out of this, please hit subscribe. Please hit subscribe. Or leave a comment. You know, I mean, you know what helps the algorithm. If people like this, if people subscribe to it, if people leave a comment, you know, instead of saying like I'm a brand new channel, which I am, I'm only a month old, okay? So I only have 9 subscribers. But I think I'm going to call myself a micro creator from now on. I like that. That's got a little ring to it, doesn't it? But anyway, micro creators supposedly have more trust. And I can certainly see that on my immigration channel, where I only have, I started that a year ago, May of 25. And I have like 136 subscribers. I just did that very slowly. So I have 136 subscribers on that. I completely forgot what I was going to say there. Stronger engagement. Anyway, what I was saying, you know, there's some subscribers I know that watch all the videos that I put up. You know, I'll put a video up at 9 o'clock in the morning, and before I can actually go up and look at it myself, it's already had 2 views, which I might have gotten them in like the first half hour. So it wasn't like that even 6 months ago. So now I have people that every time I post something, they're taking a look at it. So that means that people have trust in what. So that means that people have trust in me. They think I'm credible. And that is exactly what brands are looking for. They want to offer sponsorships to channels that people trust, that are reliable, that are professional. So if you look trustworthy, you look stable, professional, so a small creator who looks trustworthy, professional, stable, organized, and authentic can certainly compete with larger channels for sponsorships. That's especially true if you're competing with a large channel that's got itself embroiled in a lot of controversy. Because at the end of the day, the sponsors are not buying views. They're buying trust, they're buying predictability, they're buying safety. And a lot of creators scare off the sponsors without even realizing it. The good news is that 90% of these problems are fixable. You don't need 1 million subscribers. You don't need a viral video or a viral channel for that matter. You don't need to become fake. But you do need to think like a business owner. Because once monetization starts, this is no longer a hobby. It's a business. And you have to run it like one. It becomes a digital asset, which is what this channel is all about. So what do you think scares off the sponsors the most? Leave a comment. I always say that. Leave a comment. Nobody ever leaves a flippin' comment. Leave a comment. What do you think? Or maybe I didn't remember one. Or maybe I forgot one. Is there something that you think impacted? Let's say you got a sponsorship. What do you think helped you get that? Or maybe you lost a sponsorship. And why do you think maybe you lost that? I would love to hear your comments about that. And I think the other viewers would too. So that's it for right now. Please hit subscribe. Share this if you want to share it. If you think it might help somebody. And subscribe if you want to. And check out my other videos too, because I think you'll find some helpful things in there. I'm trying. And also, if you want to leave a comment about something that you in particular would like to know about when it comes to protecting your digital assets. I am an attorney and I am retired, and I do have a lot of time to make videos. My editing is not the best though. I'm still working on that. I'm sure your editing is better than mine. And if you could leave some tips about how to improve my editing, leave them in the comments. I'll see you next time. I hope to see you next time. Hit subscribe, like, and God bless.